January was for Bitcoin. During January, the Bitcoin exchange rate was gradually growing. In February, the situation changed. The last winter month, the bulls and the bears were trying to seize the initiative from each other. In the coming days, Bitcoin price will depend on many factors. Bitcoin ended February under the influence of bearish. The Bitcoin is at a crossroads. Bitcoin is at a crossroads. Bitcoin could go down to 22,000 or it could go to test 25. You need to pay attention to the fundamental background. What is the fundamental background in the market now? How it affects the Bitcoin rate in the next days? Bitcoin ended February under pressure from the bears in the last few weeks has changed the mood of investors. In January, investors were expecting that the Fed would have time this year to ease monetary policy, but now, as BPG data shows, markets are laying peak rates at 5.5 to 6%, and that rate could stay that way for the rest of the year. Also, now the net profitability from the S&P 500 figure has fallen to 11.3%, peaking at 13.1% 21st. Correspondingly decreased activity. Investors, what affects the ability of financial instruments to overcome resistance zones to hold the level of support? CoinShares recorded an outflow funds from cryptocurrencies of $1.9 million over the past few weeks, while Bitcoin's bullish trend weakened. The sellers' activity began to pick up, and they were able to bring the price of Bitcoin to local lows. What will happen to the rate of Bitcoin in the first days of March and the first week of March will become clear. Was February a month of minor correction? Whether it marks the beginning of a prolonged downtrend for the asset. Thus, if during the first week of March, the downtrend continues, then there's a chance that the Bitcoin 23,000 in the coming days. If the bears increase, the pressure on the Bitcoin will drop to 22.300. If Bitcoin can break through the resistance level at 24, it could start to test the position at 25. Also, it's worth noting that during the first March 5, Bitcoin could be in the 23 to 24.000 range, and only after that it will be obvious where the chart will move. Bitcoin. Recall recently the author of best-selling author of Poor Daddy Rich Daddy, Robert Kiyosaki, expressed support for Bitcoin on Twitter. He wrote that he is a fan of injecting cash funds into digital gold, its physical counterpart, and silver. According to the American investor, Bitcoin is best suited for unstable times. Kiyosaki reminded his audience that he had always considered investing in stocks and bonds. Mutual funds and ethics are risky. He stressed that in times of increased volatile financial markets, it has become even more dangerous. The famous billionaire warned users that now the Bitcoin scene can rise and fall. However, globally, the investor is confident in the massive prospects for this digital asset. Earlier, Kiyosaki expressed confidence that the value of the virtual currency will grow 20 times from its current levels. In the 25th year, he predicted to reach a price of 500,000 for one Bitcoin. The famous author stressed that he is not making this conclusion out of thin air. The big collapse of all the leading market, and he even expects a repeat of the depression in the United States. According to Kiyosaki, in an attempt to save the situation, the US government is printing billions of dollars, which the investor called fake money. The entrepreneur added that they are really is not backed by anything. I'll say goodbye to you. Subscribe to the channel by clicking on the bell. Like it.